Okay, so just before we start talking, could you just tell me who you are and what is your role here and all that stuff?
I'm Evan Malone. I'm the founder and president of NextFab Studio. We call it a gym for innovators, but basically an open studio space with high-tech tools and expert staff that help people learn how to use digital fabrication technology. And we also do contract services like laser cutting or machining or engineering, design, fabrication, product development, that kind of thing.
So how did you come into this whole thing? You don't have to look at the camera.
Just
You can look at me if you want.
I'm going to be looking at the side of the face.
Yeah, I like that. That's the way most of my interviews look, actually.
Interviewers have different styles. Actually, I feel rebellious right now because normally in other interviews you're told not to look at the camera.
Yeah. No, you can look at the camera. You can do both if you want.
Yeah, I'll go back and forth. So the story is that, well, I'll go all the way back. I got a bachelor's in physics from UPenn. I worked at Fermilab outside Chicago for a couple of years, doing applied physics, basically helping build a new generation of accelerator there. Saw sort of some of the exciting aspects and some of the challenges of working in complex many-body engineering challenge like that, where there's a lot of overhead to managing information flows and so on. So I got interested in collaboration and systems engineering discipline of managing the complexity of big systems.
Mm-hmm.
Sound maybe won't be the greatest.
That's okay.
I eventually went back to graduate school at Cornell, did a master's in robotics, systems engineering, and was involved in RoboCup, which is an autonomous robotic soccer competition. It's international. And
RoboCup.
RoboCup.
Cup.
C-U-P.
Right.
Inspired by
Right.
World Cup soccer. The mission of that challenge, which was, I think, developed by computer scientists in Japan, is to have, by the year 2050, robotic humanoid soccer players playing in a World Cup match against humans. Sounds like a dangerous sort of thing to wish for.
That does sound dangerous, yeah.
But anyway, it was very exciting as a challenge for young engineers, and it was very inspirational to myself and all of my colleagues. Anyway, we ended up winning our league in Japan. We sort of flew to Japan with the team and the robots.
Oh, wow.
And this is fully autonomous, so there's no humans like controlling anything. They're just robots run themselves. But so after that, I was invited to do a PhD, and I stayed on at Cornell for a PhD and got into 3D printing and trying to print complete robots. The goal was to print a robot that would walk right out of the printer when it was done.
Wow. Did that happen?
Printing guys, almost. I did enough anyway. So along the way, developed something called Fab at Home. And Fab at Home is one of those open source 3D printer projects.
Mm-hmm.
It was around 2007. So it's kind of like a rep wrap, but instead of melting plastic, it has a syringe pump on it, and it can work with soft materials and chemicals and so on. So I was using that for making things like batteries and transistors and artificial muscle actuators, and it's gone on to be used for tissue engineering work, making replacement cartilage or replacement organs, heart valves, and so on. So while I was doing that, I got a chance to show the Fab at Home first model at an opening of a MIT Fab Lab in South Africa, and I was inspired by the effect that exposure, just sort of the opportunity to lay your hands on tools, sort of leapfrog effect that had for people that otherwise had no technical background. So in half an hour of training on how to use a drawing program on a computer and how to push the button on the machine, load the material, and make sure it doesn't start on fire, people were making things of immediate, at least interest, if not immediate use, and then it wasn't too long of a step to see use coming out of that. So got to thinking about access versus capital. If we could provide the capital, then eliminate the access barriers and unleash a lot of creative potential. So I thought I wanted to do that kind of thing, and decided to talk about that when I came back to Philadelphia after grad school. Met a couple guys in the Science Center. They run Esther Klein Gallery, which is 3600 over there.
I was just over there.
Actually, I talked at the Hack Tree, talked at New Night Philly event about Fab at Home and and stuff like that. And ended up getting some teammates together. Some of them were involved in the Hackery, and then became 576.
Right.
And we were all going to initially collaborate on setting up this space. For various reasons, the group did not remain cohesive, but I ended up sticking with the Science Center people, and we set it up here. And the rest is, what you see before you. So.
Great. Thank you. So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So basically, I'm coming in and I'm asking you, would you like to, or would NextFab like to kind of participate in this show, or can you invite your members to participate, optionally, obviously?
We would be happy to invite our members. Some of the staff here are artists and have their own independent pursuits, and they might be interested in participating, or they might not. I couldn't tell without asking them first.
Yes, it's not limited to people. It's also limited to open to staff, obviously.
So, 1 second.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, we're
So
back.
I'm sure there would be enthusiasm. There may be some concern about the tight timeline, but we've had reasonable success in getting artworks submitted to other events that we've had, sort of similar exhibit events in partnership with other organizations. So I'm sure there would be 5 to 10 people at least.
That's great. Yeah.
Interested, and then you can probably whittle it down from there if you needed to.
Yeah, so the jury is composed of the head of the Master's Industrial Design program, Jonas Milder, who is a designer and a design 4.0, 3.0 guy, like thinking, design. And then we have a psychologist and medical doctor and app designer, Slavko Malekic. He's a professor at UR. Yeah, he's kind of, and then the head of the multimedia program at University of the Arts, D'Angela Duff, and she does graphic design, interaction design, motion graphics. And then Catherine Bennett, who is you probably met her, yeah. And she's an installation artist, a new media artist. So as of now, those are the official people on the jury. But there's going to be a few more. I was going to ask Georgia, but I had a conversation with her today. I was thinking, it might not be a good idea to either I invite one person from each hackerspace or none. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
it's sort of a different feel to the way it would turn out in either case. I think without, then it's sort of like let's divorce ourselves from the enthusiasm that hackers have for themselves and try and take a more hard-edged look at are they actually producing anything of value.
Right.
Which is interesting. I think that probably would do more more painful but more beneficial.
That's great.
The other case might be a little bit more fun, maybe a little more contentious because the different factions would be more.
Right.
But I would vote for the former. Don't have representation from the entities themselves.
Right.
I don't know if you watch figure skating in the Olympics, and there's usually those Eastern Bloc countries that they always vote for their own, and they always can everyone else, and you end up just sort of neutralizing each other in that regard. So just get that out of there. It's just noise anyway.
Right. Okay.
And I would be try to make it critical. See if we can elevate the caliber of work that's coming out of this.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the next step for hackerspaces is to become, to produce legitimate work for the benefit of others. I enjoy the recreational aspect of it. It's great, but we want to have it be fun while also being more productive.
Right.
So, I think there's an opportunity for becoming more formally engaged in education, for instance. Coordinating with schools, hosting events, and so on, sharing the knowledge with kids, and making sure that it fits into the curriculum.
Yeah.
And then really, you've got deep expertise in certain areas. It could be kind of a consultancy, on-demand, affordable consultancy for budding projects.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this.